And we are back here with another video today. We are looking at the Vanderbilt Commodores in Clark Lee's sixth season at Vanderbilt, doing a tremendous job getting the 10-win season last year, showing consistent improvement year over year. Clark Lee looking to expand that success over more than one quarterback, looking to get beyond Diego Pavia, looking to get beyond Eli Stowers and see if he can build a true winner there in Nashville. Thank you and welcome to the Football Expert. My name is Reikley Ruby. Thank you all for joining me. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below. Help me reach my goal of 6,600 subscribers by the end of July. Like the video if you enjoy it and comment your thoughts and opinions down below. I'd like to know what you think about Vanderbilt football, where you think it'll be going next year. How do you think it will improve, and where do you think that improvements still need to be made in this team? So let's get started. First game of the season is a home game against Austin Peay. Easy win. I'm not going to go into this. They'll beat them, no problem, probably by 60 plus, honestly. Delaware is the next game. They're now an FBS opponent, but it is still a team that has a lot of work to do in Conference USA. So I have this as a loss personally. Or I'm sorry, a loss for Delaware, I should more specify. A win for Vanderbilt. I don't think that Delaware is anywhere near the capacity of Vanderbilt is at the moment. So easy win there. Then a home game against NC State. I was a little bit back and forth on this game, mostly because of I'm not 100% sure whether the quarterback situation for Vanderbilt is going to be solidified at that point. Right now, I saw a report recently out today that On3 posted that they said Blaise Berkowitz is going to be the quarterback at Vanderbilt, or the projected starter. I don't know if that's official. I haven't seen anything specifically reports-wise. But is he still going to be the quarterback in week 3? Will Jared Curtis come in? What will it look like? So that's kind of where I'm at. Is I would like to know a little more about the quarterback situation, because if you know anything about North Carolina State, they have a great quarterback in CJ Bailey. They lost their main stalwart running back in Hollywood Smothers. So that was a big loss. But I do think Vanderbilt's just a better team at the end of the day. I think the defense looks great. I think they bring back some of the pieces, particularly Brian Longwood and CJ Hurd, Nick Rinaldi even. At the linebacking position, the outside linebacking defensive end area. But then also building upon guys like Cedric Alexander at the running back position. Obviously, you're not going to have as much rushing ability from a quarterback this year as far as I can tell. But would Alexander really blossom into where he could be? Because I think he's a high potential running back. I think Clark Lee is good at being able to build that. So I'm excited to see where that will go. And then next game on the schedule, home game against Auburn, pretty much a similar team here. Byron Brown, the quarterback at Auburn, good quarterback. Defense is okay. This time has a first-year head coach and Alec Golish. I have this as a win. Honestly, you could convince me either way. If Auburn looks good and really gets on a roll, I could see Auburn winning this game because it's a home game. But I think that Vanderbilt, the defense, is going to be solid enough to be able to get wins. But it also depends on, like, is Junior Sherrill the top wide receiver that is coming back after obviously losing Trey Richardson last year? Are you going to be able to see that same level of explosiveness out of the wide receiver position as you did last year? So that's where I think it starts. So a win there against Auburn. Road game against Georgia. This is where I think talent becomes a factor in this game, similar to how I think they'll kill Austin Peay. I think there's still a talent disparity between a team like Georgia and a team like Vanderbilt. But I will say this, it will be interesting if Jared Curtis is the starting quarterback at some point or in that point of the season, because obviously he flipped from Georgia to Vanderbilt late in the cycle. So that would be an interesting matchup, interesting storyline. I have this as a loss. I just don't think that they're good enough to beat a team like Georgia. Next up is a home game against Ole Miss. I just don't think a Ole Miss team that defensively, I think they'll be good. I think they'll continue, but you did lose Prince. I'm blanking on his last name. It's a really, really long U last name. But either way, uh, I think that they do have the pieces defensively to continue some of the improvements that they had with Pete Golding. And obviously, I'm not as high as on Pete Golding as some people are, but I do think that he's a solid head coach, played well, helped that team to play well in the playoffs. So I think that they're going to be able to get a win here against Vanderbilt, even with it being a home game. But here's the other thing I will say. There are some games this year, Ole Miss at home, Tennessee at home, and Alabama at home, that are against pretty good teams that I think that they probably win one of those games. You could convince me of which of those three that they win. Because obviously, like, you go back last 2 seasons ago, obviously the Alabama win. But also remember a double overtime 3-point loss against Missouri on the road. So, like, remember that. You looked at that, you saw that. A 3-point loss against Texas, and even a 13-point loss against Tennessee at the end of the season. Those were all very good games. Last year, you beat number 10 LSU, you beat number 15 Missouri, you beat number 11 South Carolina, and obviously LSU and South Carolina did not finish the season as well as they could have. Those are still wins. You still also beat Tennessee and almost beat Texas on the road. Even though Texas was number 20 at the time, I do think that they were obviously a lot better than number 20. And honestly, one of the more underrated teams last year. Outside of the quarterback position, they were really good, honestly. But yeah, I think that this is a loss for Vanderbilt against Ole Miss. Heading into the next game, it's a home game against Arkansas. I think that they're going to kill Arkansas. I just do not see it here. KJ Jackson, the new quarterback at Arkansas, I think is pretty good. I think he has a lot of talent. I think he has a lot of athleticism. But Ryan Silverfield, I don't think he was the greatest hire in the world. I think there were a lot better coaches, whether you're looking at head coaches or offensive coordinators, or defensive coordinators generally, that would have been better hires than Silverfield. I'm just not that high on him. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but just look out for that. Then a road game against Kentucky. I have this as a win, but be on the lookout for a game like this. Obviously, a few years ago was a big win against Kentucky, beating them 20-13 was a massive win because for the first time in forever, Vanderbilt had back-to-back SEC wins. And obviously last year, they did that plenty of times, stringing along 3-2 multiple SEC wins at a time. But I think that it's where these types of matchups are what Vanderbilt needs to do to continue to build upon its success. Because I don't think that 10-3 is probably going to happen this year. But do I think that Vanderbilt is very capable of being able to beat teams like Kentucky on a consistent basis if Clark Lee wants to continue to build this program where it is? Yes, I do think he's capable of doing it. So I have that as a win. And an important stepping stone. Miss State, a road game against them. Jeff Lebby, I'm just not as high on Miss State as some people are. I just don't like where Jeff Lebby is. It got that team right at the moment. I believe I just put out my Mississippi State prediction. I may have just made the thumbnail, but one or the other. I just think Mississippi State, Kamario Taylor is a great quarterback and a guy that I think will be transferring at the end of the season, regardless of whether they have a good season or a bad season. I think he is good enough to transfer to somewhere bigger and better. But yeah, I just don't see Miss State having the pieces, especially consistently, to what does their running game situation look like against Vanderbilt? Are they going to be able to stop the honestly, I think I would even go as far as to say high-powered offense of Vanderbilt. So win there. Last 3 games of the season, home game against Alabama, road game against Florida, and home game against Tennessee. I think that they win this first one against Alabama, and I think they get on a roll here. I think Keelan Russell, now the quarterback at Vanderbilt, is not horrible. I think he's pretty decent. But I got to see it before I believe it because Kalen DeBoer has had some shaky moments. Where is the run game from Alabama? It looked horrible last year. Obviously, Alabama won the rematch of last year. But remember, this Alabama and Vanderbilt teams, just watch out because these are not horrible teams. They could really go back and forth. I think they really have an opportunity to be able to build some momentum here, I think, in a game like that against Alabama. I think that they get a win. I think that they play well against a team like Alabama, and I think that they pull off the shock upset once again at home in Nashville. Road game against Florida, I think that the swamp catches up to them and they get a loss here. A little bit of a whoop, whoop down. Just a kind of a setback game. And I think that this Vanderbilt team is getting better, but I think they have a lot of work to do of the consistency factor. So I think it starts there. Then a road game, or a home game, I should say, against Tennessee. Beat them last year on the road, lost at home by 13 the year prior, lost the year prior to that as well, and many years prior. I think that this is a game where Tennessee at the end of the season is a lot better than they are at the beginning of the season. So I think that it starts there. Is Tennessee going to improve as much as I think they will from the beginning of the season to the end of the season? Will Bishop be a good running back? And will Brandon Faison be a good quarterback? I think that those are things that will happen, but I could be wrong. Like I said, been wrong in the past. But I think that does happen. So that's going to wrap up today's video. Hit one of the 2 videos down below and hit the subscribe button up here. Help me reach my goal of 6,600 subscribers by the end of July. As always, hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.